Hello! If you like this makeup look, this is actually a competition or dance performance makeup look that I used to use. I'm retired now because old, but this is how it looks. It works really well for me because I have Asian eyes and sometimes they're kind of hard to work with and try to get the eyeliner correct. But so far I've figured out how to make it work for my eyes. And I actually have mono lids, you guys. So it's, even more exciting or fun to deal with when you're trying to put makeup on. So if you like this and you want to see how I create this, continue watching or don't. It's up to you. Watch. So I'm going to start with a clean face, and I'm actually going to do my eye makeup first because I found that if I do my foundation and then my eye makeup, a lot of times I'll have some of my eye makeup fall down into my foundation and then it's a big mess to try to clean up. So we're just going to do our eyes first. I usually start off with a primer. This is just an e.l.f. primer. It doesn't really matter what you use. You can actually use concealer if you want. You just use a concealer, just dab a little bit, and you're just gonna cover your lid. But I'm gonna use this primer, and I basically just apply it like so. And I'm gonna apply it to my whole lid. So all the way everywhere. Both sides, both eyeballs. And I'm gonna actually bring it all the way up to my eyebrows because I am going to put some highlight up in that area. So I want to make sure that I'm covering all areas of my eye that will be taking any type of shadow or makeup, just so that it has something to adhere to. Now, if you don't have that, again, it's okay. You could also use foundation. You just want a little bit, just enough so that the makeup has something kind of to attach to and bind to. So after that, I'm just going to use this really tiny little palette. You don't have to use a professional one. This one is actually a Revlon, so this is just a drugstore brand that you can buy, and I'm just using very natural shades. But if you would like to see a video where I actually use exciting colors, like I have blues and reds and pinks and purples, because it kind of depends on what type of performance you're going to do, I can do that too. So if you're interested in that, please let me know. But for right now, we are going to go ahead and stay with neutral colors. I am going to go ahead and go in with my brush. And I'm just using this kind of big flat brush. And I'm just going to go right into my shadow. And I'm going to load up my brush pretty well because I'm going to cover my whole entire lid. I am going to tap it off. So I see all that fallout that happens there. We want to tap our brushes out because if I were to just apply that makeup right to my eye, then all this makeup would actually fall off the brush and then it would be on my face. So again, this is one of the reasons why I do my eye makeup first before I do the rest of my face, because I tend to be kind of messy, but it is up to you. Again, I'm gonna load up my brush, tap out the excess, and then we are going to apply it. So all the way from my lash line, all the way to my eyebrow. And this just nice little base to start with. After that, if you don't have time, then you'd want to apply the eyeshadow pretty heavy. I'm going to take a little bit more time and I'm going to actually be blending it a lot more than maybe some of you would like. But blending I like because it builds up slowly, so you're not just suddenly a bunch of makeup and you're like, oh my gosh, what am I supposed to do with this? And then you have to try to take it off, blah, blah, blah. So I am going to go ahead and load up my brush again. This is just a different palette. It doesn't really matter. The other one happened to be a little bit shimmery, so I'm going to use more of a matte color for the outer corners of my eye. So here I'm going to do it. Yeah. So again, I'm going to just apply this to the outer corners of my eye. And I'm gonna kind of make this little triangle a little bit. This might not be the best brush. Now, some of these eyeshadows come with those little sponges, and you can use that too. So I'll go ahead and use that so you can see that you can use those, so you don't have to use expensive brushes or whatnot. So again, I just loaded it up. So there it is. I am gonna tap it off. I think these little sponges actually work a little bit differently than brushes. So again, I'm just taking the tip of that brush and I'm just making this little triangle. And we are just gonna apply the eyeshadow like so. And I'm gonna again make that little kind of like triangle at the edge of my eye. I don't naturally have a crease, I have a monolid. So once I curl my eyelashes, you can see that it creates this pretend like eye crease. But for makeup on stage, I find that I really need to actually use pretend to make a crease for my eye. And so that's what I'm gonna do. So basically you wanna find your little eyeball right here, and you're just gonna be gentle. You're gonna just kind of push into it and you'll be like, oh, okay, there's the top of my eyeball. And you're gonna follow that line. You're gonna follow your eyeball line, and you're gonna just bring that eyeshadow in. This is a really old shadow palette, so I'm actually not gonna keep continuing to use that little spongy, but you can. I'm assuming you usually have like a new one. So I'm gonna use this tiny little brush. And now again, I'm just gonna create that pretend eye crease. And I'm not gonna take it all the way into the inner corner. I'm just gonna go, I'm like, this is about my middle of my eye, and I'm just gonna go a little bit more in. Just a little bit. And so again, remember, I wouldn't go crazy with this because we can always add more. It's really hard to subtract once you get it on there. So again, here I am. And so once I like that line, I'm like, oh, that's great. Okay, hoo, yay. And then we can continue on to the other eye. I like to do both eyes at the same time just because otherwise I feel like it doesn't look the same. And I have a problem with that. So we're just gonna do the other eyeball. So here we go. On the corner, again, I'm gonna try to kind of make that little triangle. So this is kind of a thicker brush, so I'm gonna go ahead and go in with the more thin brush so I can really sharpen that little triangle in the corner of my eye. Again, I find the crease, top of my eyeball there, and I'm just gonna go right in there with this eyeshadow. There. Now you don't have to be like meticulous about this because again, you just want nice coverage. But I'm a little bit perfectionist, so I'm gonna try to make this look really nice. Because you never know, maybe after this performance, you're like, yeah, let's go to dinner. And you're like, well, I look pretty glam. I mean, I might as well just keep this makeup on because I'm looking pretty good. So this would be obviously high glam, major glam going on here, but I'm gonna try to make this look as nice as possible. So now I have these nice little triangles that are happening in the corners of my eyes. This is where you don't have to be doing this, but I'm gonna do it anyways. So again, I'm just gonna go into my eyeshadow palette here. There's a little bit of some information on the back if you want to try to follow that. That's actually not bad. I wouldn't really follow it though, but so now I'm gonna go in with this like kind of lighter grayish shade. And again, I'm just gonna go in there. I have a fluffy brush this time, fluffy. But again, I'm gonna tap that off and I am going to apply that. And I'm gonna kind of go and push in and then go in like kind of little circles, kind of roundy round. And I'm doing that because I'm just gonna lightly buff that sharp edge and that sharp line that I made with that eyeshadow. So I'm just kind of following the line that I've already made both ways, down towards my eye and then across my eyelid. And I'm just kind of blending that in. Again, you can always add more. So again, I would go quite slowly with this process. You also want it to look nice. You want it to look just too hurried. So just notice how that is actually starting to soften. So this is pretty rough and this is kind of softening there. Now I am gonna add more because this is a stage makeup. So I am gonna go in with a darker brown, and you can go in with whatever brown you want to use. I'm gonna again use that little cheaper palette. It's just the darkest one right there. Tap it off, and then we are going to apply. So again, like I said, just do it in layers. Because if you don't do it in layers, then again, you cannot take away what you've already done. And then you have to start over, and that's a pain, and I don't like having to start over. So here we go. So I've darkened that up, and we're gonna darken it a significant amount because cameras, when you take a picture or you take a video, it somehow washes you out. But also lights on stage is gonna wash you out too. So we're gonna go kind of heavy on this. So it might look a little crazy in person. Who knows? So again, I'm going to take that fluffy brush and I'm just going to buff that out so it's not such a harsh line, and it's kind of mixing in and kind of blurring it outward. So that's what's happening there. Blah, blah, blah. Lovely. Okay, do the other side. Again, I'm taking that darker brown color, tapping it off, just darkening that corner, that little V that I've made, and a little crease. I'm gonna really focus on the outside there because that's what's gonna create that like nice shadow line. Okay, I'm gonna buff it out. Buffing that out with my fluffy brush. Buffy. Like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, that's probably too old for some of you people, so I just like dated myself, but you know, I'm an 801-year-old vampire, so what are you gonna do? Just kidding. So again, it's just that you're just gonna kind of continue adding the shadow so that you have you build it up until like you find that it's like dark enough, or you like the thickness of the line. Again, I just like take my time, but you can do whatever works for you. So, So I'm gonna come back after I've kind of darkened that. You don't need to watch me buff it out like a million times, so I'll be right back. We are back. And so I've darkened that up. Now again, I actually put a lot of shadow on, but you can't really tell because it is a camera. I'm actually using a really natural light, a lot of natural light. I'm actually gonna go in with this like lighter color. It's kind of like this little, kind of looks like cinnamon, but we're gonna actually now add it to the corners. And I'm gonna show you what it does there. It's actually kind of nice. So I'm gonna now add the second color. And you can see how it's gonna start adding a different layer of this richness to it. So I have like dark, and then I have the lighter happening. So it's kind of this really nice blurring effect that's happening with my makeup now versus super sharp, harsh lines. So I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side, just kind of pushing that product in. I'm just going along that line that I've made, that little triangle that I've made. I'm just going along it, and I'm just kind of buffing. Not pushing too hard, but pushing enough that it's, you know, blurring. So again, look, that kind of brings it outward. This side looks a lot better. I don't know what's happening. It's fine. Try to be consistent. I am not consistent right now. That's fine. It's the lighting. So now that we have it the way that we like, we can always, I'm going to show you with adding, not eyeliner, but I'm going to make a little cat eye, and we will go over that. So now we're going to take you can use the primer again, or you can use concealer. I'm going to use a little bit of concealer because I don't like this one. This one's like way too dark for me. It's like I am not that tan. I like to put it on my hand, like so, because I sometimes don't like to apply it to my skin because, you know, your skin has natural oils and, like, you know, even though it's clean. So what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to take a little brushy brush, and I'm just going to get into that concealer, and then we are going to, I'm going to do a cut crease. And what that means is this area right here that's pretty light, I am going to add that now. This is kind of dark, but that's okay. I'm going to add it into that area that was empty. And I'm going to go into that corner. And the reason why I do this is since we created that fake eye crease, we are going to load up this middle area with some really beautiful blinding highlight or a really shimmery light colored eyeshadow. You can use whatever you would like. So I'm going to just do both sides. So since this side is a little bit I'm going to try to clean it up a little bit. So I'm going to create more of that crease. And then I'm actually going to clean up the corner a little bit because it looked like I got a little bit excited. It was like, so hopefully that cleans it up. Now, I know that's kind of dark. You might want to use a different concealer, but this is the one that I'm trying to get rid of and get, you know, use up. So now you can use a very white. This is a matte. You don't have to use a matte. You can always use a different. is a really old palette, but this is like a shimmery right there, very shimmery. So I'm gonna use that one. And usually what I do is I use a small brush so I can pack it in, and it's just this kind of pencil-like looking brush. So again, I'm gonna load up my brush, tap out the excess, and then I'm just gonna go in and I'm going to push that into the area that I just put that concealer. Now, this sometimes takes a little bit, so you can be a little bit, if you're like me, you're like, oh my god, I need to hurry up. You can take your finger and you're just gonna go into that eyeshadow and you're gonna load that up, and then you're just, since it's kind of tacky, because it's still slightly wet, the concealer is, or whatever you decided to use, a primer, I'm gonna push it right into there. And the nice thing about using your finger is you can load it up pretty heavy, and then you just tap it right in. Don't be aggressive, it's your eyeball, or it's somebody else's eyeball, so don't be aggressive, but push it into that concealer. And that actually, I find, works a lot better. Now you can use the little brush if you want to get really meticulous in that corner there. We don't need to be like that, but I mean, if you want to be. So again, I'm just gonna push that into my eye. Amazing, wow, okay. So, I will use that little brush to kind of show you how I'm gonna clean that up, because it was a little bit crazy. Where is it? Here we go. Brush, tap it off, and then push into that corner. I'm trying to clean up this mess. I was a little bit sloppy, so I try not to be sloppy. But again, you guys, this is like stage makeup. It's nice when it's like absolutely meticulous and perfect. I have a friend, Matthew, who's like, should basically be a makeup artist, but he's not. But he does a beautiful job, and yeah, what he can do is just magic. You know, some people have it, some people don't. I had to honestly watch a ton of YouTube videos in order to be able to just kind of do this well on myself. So again, I would put a lot, actually. I would put a lot in there, into that. And you can actually do the inner corners of your eye as well. Now, this is the same color that I'm gonna use above, like under my eyebrow. So I'm gonna do the inner corners. That's nice. Brighten up your eye. I'm gonna go under my eyebrow, and I'm going like middle of my brow and outward. So that's gonna open up my eye a little bit more, because Asian eyes, some of you Asians have lovely eyes. I have monolids. I don't prefer them, but whatever, this is what I got. You just gotta work with it, right? Okay, add a little bit more, and that's really pretty. Lovely. Ooh. Okay, moving on. Now, this is pretty good for the eyeshadow. I'm gonna do, it's not eyeliner. It's looks like eyeliner. The reason why I don't use eyeliner is because I suck at it, basically. I'm really terrible with it. And honestly, when I have tried to use it before, it's too much. So what I do is I just take this little angled brush, and then I am gonna just go into it with a dark color. Now, sometimes you can go into it with like a little bit lighter, just to kind of block out, or kind of put like a little line to be like, is that really where I want the eyeshadow to go, or eyeliner? And what I usually do is I kind of follow my eye like this way. But I already kind of did it with the eyeshadow right there, as you can see. So I already made kind of that line that I'm basically gonna follow. But again, I just start off with a dark brown, just so I can kind of plot out where I'm gonna go with this. And if it doesn't work out, then I can always blend it into what I already have on my eyeball. So, now I know you're like, okay, that didn't make a difference. It did, don't worry. So, once I make my little line and I'm like, yay, that's perfect, I love it, then I'm gonna kind of make another line and bring it into the middle part of my eye. Now, as you can see, you can kind of see that happening right there. Ooh, but I'm just basically blocking out where I want it to go. Again, I'm just basically going to follow the line that I already made with my eyeshadow. But then I'm making that little triangle. So I'm going to pull it in towards my eye, going over that white shimmer part. And that's okay. I'm going to make a little triangle. And then that's just basically what I want to try to follow. Now, moment of truth. We're going to use this black because stage makeup. We're gonna say a little prayer because sometimes this doesn't always work out the best. And we're just gonna go for it. So you can either like draw the line. I like to stamp it a little bit, just so I'm like, okay, that actually is the line I want to follow. Sorry, I know you can't see. So notice how okay, that's black. Yeah, it's good. We're gonna take it. Now, there's my line. Yay! And then I'm gonna make that little triangle, bringing it in towards the middle point of my eye. As you can see, it's darkening up. And it is okay that you go over that white shadow that you did. It's like, whatever, it's not a big deal. Then once I've kind of plotted it out, I take this thicker angled brush, and I'm just gonna load up the brush again. Tap the excess. You definitely, with a black shadow, you want to tap out that excess because it's just gonna fall right down there. So, again, I'm gonna not so much like pulling it. I'm kind of pushing and dabbing. Dab. Like that. Yay! Oh my gosh. Okay. I go to the middle of my eye. Some people like to go all the way in, but the thing is, I have Asian eyes. They're small to begin with. I'm not trying to make them smaller. We're trying to create a bigger eye, right? Because it's like, oh, they're on stage. Are her eyes open? Can she see what she's doing? Yeah. My eyes are open. It just does not look like it. So we're gonna try to make them smaller. Some people are blessed with beautiful big eyeballs. I am not. So we're just gonna go to the middle point of my eye. See, that's gonna actually open it up more. So I'm gonna push a shadow in, and you can darken this up as much as you'd like. And you can also create a longer little wing. The little wing is the little sharp point that is gonna come to. This is pretty good. I'm gonna do the other side, which, pray for me. Okay, so we said a prayer, and we're hopefully this is the moment of truth, because sometimes this is where it's good to practice, you guys, because let me tell you, the first couple 800 times that I tried to do this, it did not go well. It was like, oh, all that work. I'm gonna cry because it's hard when one side, they don't match. You're just like, oh, that's horrible. So that's why I kind of plotted out. So again, we're gonna just kind of say a prayer and push that in there and kind of hope that that's okay. It's decent. We're gonna take it. I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna press it in a little bit. Oop, sorry. And then we're gonna make that little triangle, a guideline. We're gonna take our angled brush and we're gonna load that guy up and then tap out, and then we're gonna now, if you were to be using eyeliner, which I know lasts way longer, which is fine, I just have no success with it. You're gonna basically kind of do the same thing. You're gonna create this one line. Most people go from out, like in to out, and I just stamp because it's a lot easier for me to block it out with. But however works for you, please do that. And then you're just gonna go from the tip and then you're gonna pull it in. So you make that little triangle, and then I think you just fill it in, because honestly, I don't do that, you guys. And so I assume that's what you do, but I don't know, because that is not my jam. I cannot do it. It does not work for me. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too impatient for it to dry, or it doesn't ever look correct for me. So there's my other eye. It's okay. We're gonna pull it out more because dramatics. We're gonna pull it out because we are doing stage makeup, people. We're doing stage makeup. I want the people in the back of the auditorium of the opera house to be like, bam, look at her eyes. Beautiful. How did she get her eyes so gorgeous? And I'll be like, YouTube. That's where I learn most things, YouTube. Thank goodness for YouTube, you guys. Thank goodness for all these people who make these amazing videos. Not me. I'm not saying me, because there are some people who make beautiful videos. This is just a really short, put together, whatever, okay? This is just, hey, whatever. So I'm happy with how this looks, for the most part. So, continuing on. This is where you get to either you can use your foundation. Now, normally I don't use foundation, guys, because, I don't know, my skin is really sensitive and it hates makeup. So the second that we're done with this video, all this is coming off. I'm not like, I'm gonna go to the store and look glam. No, it's like, I'm gonna take this off because I'm gonna start freaking out. You guys ever get claustrophobic in your clothes when they're like tight and it's like winter time? I get claustrophobic in my makeup. I'm like, I can't breathe. My skin is gonna break out. It already breaks out. Like, this is just, I'm not even doing it. I'm existing when this happens, so it doesn't matter. I covered this because I was using it for a TikTok video, but it's Maybelline Fit Me. It's kind of old. This is why I'm a little scared to put it on, but we're gonna do it anyway. Some people use a little spongy sponge. I don't have one of those. So we're just gonna, use a brush. But you can definitely, I don't even know how I'm gonna do this, you guys, because I don't usually, we're gonna just, this is gonna, okay, we're gonna find out if this is, okay. Guys, use a primer first. It's too late, we have to commit. Okay, so I'm gonna just take my finger and I'm just gonna kind of dabby dab around where I'm gonna, this brush is circular and you kind of, it's what you want to do with it is you're gonna you're gonna buff the makeup into your face. My skin is already crying right now. It's like, why are you doing this to us? This is gonna be, my acne is like, haha, guess what? We're gonna make an even bigger appearance later after you've already washed all this off. No. Okay, so I have too much. That's okay, we're just gonna, now I'm gonna take my lovely little brushy and I'm just gonna buff that into my face. Again, I don't usually do this, you guys, because my face, I hate makeup on my face. The eyes is like borderline too much already, but it does create a very lovely effect on stage. So I would suggest doing it. Don't feel like me. You guys probably have better skin than I do too. So we're just gonna make that so nice. Kind of like a massage for your, this is nice. Actually, I kind of like this. Now, guys, whatever brushes you're using, if you're using brushes, it's like your dance shoes. You need to wash them. I do not care. Like, you need to wash these things. And I would definitely, like, if you guys are using foundation, like, every day, like, and you're not just doing, dance makeup, every week, you guys. And if you're only doing dance makeup with these brushes, you need to wash them right after, because unless your next even if your next performance is like in a month, the bacteria, no. That's another reason why I don't like makeup on my face. So I'm like, bacteria. Anyways, amazing. Look at how beautiful it is. Wow. So now that we have that on, you can use a concealer. Some people like to use a concealer beforehand. Some people like to use it afterwards. I'm going to use it right now, and I'm going to actually use the concealer that I do use on a regular basis. Again, I'm going to put it on my hand because I have this thing with, like, double dipping. I like it. I'm going to use this little brush. We're going to apply it to the under eye and some other areas that we want to brighten, because if you're like me, and even when you get a decent amount of sleep, your eyeballs look like you haven't slept in the past century. So we're just going to brighten up that under eye. Yeah, that's so, look at how lovely that is. I'm going to do the other side. Also, you guys, when you're watching videos and people are like, oh, look at my makeup, and they look flawless, I look pretty flawless right now, okay? And that is not how my skin is, so try not to get, like, tricked into thinking, like, oh, these people, they're just, like, unbelievable. I mean, these people are beautiful who are doing their makeup, don't get me wrong, that's not what I'm saying. It's just, like, lighting and all that other good stuff, you guys. Like, I have terrible skin. Like, I know you can't see it that well, but, like, if you actually saw me in person, you'd be like, oh, okay. You know, so I don't have great skin, and this is making it look like I have great skin, which I don't. So don't be fooled. I have a bunch of like some, and you can see that, right? Yeah, you can see that. Anyways, so now I'm gonna do like on the sides of my mouth, because it gets kind of dark there. I don't know why. Just brighten up areas. I'm gonna have a zit right there. We're just gonna get rid of that. Magic! Okay, I'm gonna do on the inside. I know I didn't buff it out, it's fine. I'm gonna do on the inside corners of my little nose. Guys, I can't wait to take this off. I'm gonna buff that in. The concealer is a little bit more important, like, for every day. Like if you're going out and you're like, I look wrecked. You can do it. I do it here sometimes too. And then it's mostly just around my eyes because I look old, and that's fine. So, wow. Oh my goodness. Gorgeous. Okay. We're gonna do blush. Beautiful. Amazing. Oh, guys, if you want to do powder, this is... But like, guys, just look. Like, I'm sorry. I'm not a very responsible adult, and this has been sitting, and I have not performed in years. So somehow I got a little bit destroyed in my ballet dance bag makeup, and it happens. So hopefully your powder's better than mine. I'm just not going to use it because otherwise it's just too much. But again, fluffy brush, you know, kind of cover all the areas just to kind of lock in your foundation. Blush. I'm using an angled brush. Wow. It's like I almost know what I'm doing. Or I'm like a professional. Load that brush up. Tap out. Again, tap out. Look at all that. That would have been on your face. And then I like to go into the corner, like my apples and my cheeks. And then I bring it back to the hairline. Some people just go like that, which is fine. But again, I like to kind of make it look a little bit more presentable if I were to try to like go out and be like, hey, I'm gonna go to the grocery store, and people are like, oh, okay, she's just really high glam, like maybe she's just really extra. So I like to try to like blend it a little bit more. But again, you guys want to add like a decent amount. This camera for some reason is making me look kind of washed out. Again, like I said, I have really bad skin, and it's making me look amazing. But so you're gonna load up that brush, and you're just gonna, oh yeah, look at that. Now, some people do this, and you do not have to do this, but you can do this. You can contour. Contour is actually not a bad idea, because what it's going to do is it's going to accentuate a little bit the cheekbones, and like on stage, what happens is the lights are so bright that it washes you out. So my cheekbones in person are actually pretty prominent, but I'm going to do this. We're going to basically create this cheekbone and create this cheekbone, and then we're going to go along the sides, like underneath of our chin and the side of our face, just so my face doesn't blend in with my neck. So again, I would go easy. Let's go easy because it's really hard to take away. You can use cream contour if you want. I have powder. I'm old school. So again, if you're like, oh, nothing happened, that's okay. Just add more. So I'm just going like where my actual bone. You see that? Just make the weird little kissy face. And then just follow that line. So we're just gonna add. I'm going up just a little bit so it's not super heavy, but again, you're just gonna keep adding so that it is, I'm gonna keep adding so that it is good. There we go. Now you can probably see it. Now, this is a really harsh line. I am aware of that. It's a very harsh line, but we're gonna buff it out, and so it's fine. But then, like I said, I'm gonna apply it under. You're like, oh my gosh, it's gonna look like you have a 5 o'clock shadow there. Well, maybe I do, but you know what? From stage, it's gonna look amazing. I don't know if you'll be able to tell. Maybe you can see it. See? Wow. Okay. Get a fluffy brush. We're gonna buff this out. This is my powder brush. Fine. Yay, look. Wow, I look so chiseled. Okay, now we are gonna do eyebrows. I have none, clearly. Look at that. So I'm gonna use a little spoolie and I'm just gonna brush them up. And we're gonna darken these suckers up. Now, if I was just doing like an everyday makeup look, I would go real light here and then eventually it just gets blended darker. But since we're doing stage makeup, I usually start with a eyebrow pencil. You can use whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm using this because it was cheap. It's NYX. Probably was like $1. So I'm gonna go and I'm gonna follow my eyebrow line. Now, some of y'all are little childrens and your parents are doing this for you. And so you don't have missing eyebrow hairs like I do, because over the years of trying to follow the trends of what's cool for your eyebrows, there was a point where your eyebrows were supposed to be really thin. And that was terrible. So I plucked the crap out of my eyebrows. And it looks terrible. So I'm missing big old chunks, and plus I'm old, so it's just like the hairs just aren't what they used to be. It's fine. So I'm just gonna darken those areas, and I sometimes extend it just a little bit further than my actual eyebrow. Why does that side look like I have more eyebrow? Maybe I do. Anyways, doesn't matter. So now you're like, oh, that's really light. Like, what are you doing? Like, I know it's a light color, but the reason I do that is because now I'm going to fill it in with eyeshadow. Some people, you can buy those whatever kits where it's like an actual eyebrow, whatever, makeup for your eyebrow. But again, I'm just cheap, and so I'm just going to use the makeup palette, the eyeshadow palette. There's nothing wrong with this. It's just I'm being, smart, maybe. I don't know. Tap it off. Okay, we're gonna follow that line. We're gonna follow what I just created. I filled in the little bald parts of my eyebrow, and now we're just gonna push shadow and draw it out where I placed all that that was actually eyeliner that I used. Ooh, that's nice. Okay, so again, other side. Other side. Wow. So I'm going to pull that out. And then some people, so my eyebrows, I kind of shape them so they're more like straight across. And then some people have eyebrows that are like more like very vixen, very like sculpted. And I don't have that. So this is how mine look. I'm going to darken in the corners just a little bit because this is stage makeup. So it's going to look weird if my eyebrow starts like back there. So I'm just going to darken that up. I'm gonna look crazy in person. It's gonna be like, wow, my cats were probably gonna be like, So look, this is nice. Guys, I also curl my eyelashes because I don't have anything. Now, if you're gonna do eyelashes and mascara, I always curl my eyelashes. But the thing is, you guys, I can't use the eyelashes. I am allergic to all of the glue that people use for eyelashes. I think I just used too much of it over my years of performing, so it's just like it doesn't work for my eyes anymore. I can't even pretend to put it on. The glue, my eyeballs will like puff up. It'll look like I've been beaten in the face, both my eyes, and then it starts getting crusty and the blisters form and they pop. You don't want to see that. You don't need to see that. That's disgusting. That's horrible. But just pretend. La, la, la. Now, if you have an Asian eye, a lot of the lashes I do remember when I was using them are really long. So don't feel like obligated to use that long lash. You can always cut it. And I would cut, so if I'm holding it, pretend. So if this was going on my eye like this, the lashes on the inner part are a little bit shorter, and then they get, proceed to get longer. I would cut the outer part so that the longer parts you're gonna take more of that out. Because you still want it to be this nice, like progression of eyelashes. You don't want it just thick the whole way. Or maybe you do, I don't know, like whatever you like. You like what you want, but that's what I used to do. And then if you are gonna use the eyelash glue and everything, you're gonna, sorry, you're gonna go along the lash line, the little sticky part, and you're gonna blow on it till it gets a little tacky. Then you're gonna place. Now remember, you wanna leave it alone so that it sets. La la la. Yay, pretend that I put it on. But I never do now because my face will explode. What do we have left? I'm gonna use this shade. Most people use red. I have that too, but that is somewhere else. Oh, right here. And this works too, you guys, but I like to do a more maroony red, like red, I guess. Has blue undertones. And I prefer to use that over the other one just because. So, I'm gonna make a little, go along my Cupid's bow, so I'm gonna make a little X, basically. I'm gonna make a weird face because everybody makes a weird face when they put lipstick on. You can use a lip liner also, I just don't. And cheap. So I'm just going across. And I'm going across again. So then now I'm like, oh, there it is. And then I'm gonna follow it. And then I'm gonna do my bottom. Oh, that looks nice. It looks like I have a mustache. I go middle to outward. This lip is weird. I know you guys can see it, but I have low blood pressure. And one time I got up in the middle of the night, go to the bathroom, and I passed out because I got up too fast, and my teeth went through my bottom lip. So this lip's all weird. Like, what? Why is it lopsided? Wow, amazing. Now, if you're anything like me, I don't have tissue paper right now, but you wanna, so that it doesn't, but if you don't have that, I just kind of, and that's gonna take it out from, anyways. So this is it, you guys. This is the makeup look. Thank you so much for joining me. Hopefully it wasn't too whatever. But anyways, if you want me to do a different color, like I have some eyeshadow palettes that have like blue and purple and red and pink, let me know and we'll do that. It'll be amazing. Okay, thank you for watching. Bye.